Peace, everyone. It's Black Eyed Priestess. You all see me? Alright. So, I figured I would go ahead and go live while I'm making my dinner. So, this is actually going to be a purple pie. It's going to be purple shepherd's pie. And the only thing I forgot is I don't have purple carrots. But I do have some purple potatoes that I already boiled and mashed. So they're just raw purple potatoes boiled and mashed. So I'm going to fix them up a little bit. I'm going to do a vegan potatoes, even though I'm adding ground beef to the shepherd's pie that I'm making. So I'm going to do a plant-based milk with these and a chow cheese, which is vegan from Greece. And I do have some leftover purple kale from the last upload I did with my purple kale salad and broccolini that I'm going to throw in there. I'm going to do 4 peppers. I'm going to season the potatoes with black and white powdered pepper. And then I'm going to do jalapenos and a red chile pepper as well. And so shallots are also purple onion. So that's purple as well. So we got purple kale, purple potatoes, purple onion. Only thing we don't have is purple broccoli and purple carrots. But we have broccolini, and I'm going to garnish the veggies with some green onion as well. So right now, just to save time, I'm actually going to get the shallots skinned and the onions. Skin the onion, the shallots and the garlic. And I'm just going to throw them in the food processor. Even though I usually chop everything up, it'll probably save some time. So, peace everyone. Oh yeah, thank you. God reincarnated, I appreciate you. I appreciate it a lot. I'm back in the groove after a couple months of mourning my father's death. In the background, I have blinds that my cats broke, but I guess you all can't see, but I do have some plants that I'm actually really happy about. I think these are Roma tomatoes. I'm not certain. What does it say here? Yeah, Roma vine tomatoes have sprouted. They've been going strong for a good week or two now, actually. They just keep growing. And then my lemon tree has sprouted as well, the lemons. So I do have some wheatgrass growing too for the cats. And yeah, I have a bra on for once. But, and then I have like a little compost that I'm just throwing the excess in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give a rough chop for the onions, the shallots. Throw them in the food processor. Okay, just let me know how everyone's doing. I'll probably do that with the carrots too and broccoli and everything just to save time. But I just wanted to do a more traditional shepherd's pie. The first upload I did was a little bit of a more convenient one. I had the frozen veggies, which I do have. I might still cheat and add a little frozen peas, because I love peas. But it was just more of a, you know, a quick starter one. This one's more traditional, the way that my grandmother, who's actually German, not my biological grandmother, but the one that raised me nonetheless, who was married to a Jewish guy, who my grandfather, he's dead now, my Jewish grandfather. But she actually, this is where I got the recipe from, and she would make the mashed potatoes from scratch, you know, pop peas, do everything, all the veggies from scratch, and, you know, the meat, of course, not kill the cow, but pretty much everything but that. And what I'm doing is I'm saving the onion skins to burn. They're really great for cleansing, banishing rituals, exorcism rituals. You want to save the onion skins and, you know, just the little root that's attached, and, you know, just let them dry out really well. And, you know, burn them as incense whenever you do like a burning ritual. I'm going to be doing a spring cleanse burning ritual soon. I may invite people. I might just go live about it like I usually do, just waiting for the right time. But you know, onion skins are great for onion in general. You know, I've done several uploads about eating for exorcism. And another thing with onions, you can save any rotten parts that you have to cut off like this, and you can throw them around your plants, and it'll be a natural fertilizer that will stop any bugs or insects or pests from, you know, eating and being around your plants. So that's what I tend to do when I cook. I save the onions and put them around the plants, and then once they dry, then I throw them in the burning compost. I'm doing now. So I think this is a good amount. I am just doing like I'm doing a half pan this time. So, and then what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna get one more shallot. Let me see if I have one in my room. I can replace this. No, but I think I am gonna need a little more onion in there, just a tad bit. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna rinse these green onions, organic green onions. Give these a quick rinse, and like I said, I was checking to see, because I keep onions around. Onions, lemon, and garlic. You can keep whole onions, lemon, and garlic in bunches around your windows. You can hang them in bunches in stockings, or, you know, mesh nets. You can do little crafty things, make your own mesh nets, get rid of old stockings and things by hanging your onions. One, you can hang onions in stocking, and that's like a gardening hack that will keep your onions fresh outside of the fridge. And they'll last fresher up to 6 months if you tie your onion in stockings. And that way, if you have a bulk of onions or like 6 onions, you can tie them in the stockings. Instead of just, you know, ladies just throwing away your old stockings, you can do gardening hacks with those things and crafts. But you can group, you know, some type of onion, red, purple, shallot, you know, bulb, whatever, onion, lemon, and garlic clove. And you can group those together and just leave them around. You can leave them around your window, by your bed, by the doors, hanging them up by the doors, just to keep negative energy and vampires away. It's very good to keep, you know, vampire energy away. And it won't necessarily so much work on higher level vampires, like maybe the incubus and succubus. That's more strictly spiritual, but in general, that will keep parasitic energies away. And vampires are parasites, you know. That's the origin of their species, their parasite. All right. Now, the royal vampires, the original drakes of Africa, the daywalkers, the ones who don't have the allergy to the sunlight, their origin is dragon. They're drakes. So there's a difference between a drake, which is African, and a vampire, which is recessive. It's a mutation of the drake, and it's parasitic. The drakes deal with the royal bloodline. So what I'm doing, just to add, I've got this going, but since I'm going to mince it up, I feel like I might just need a little more onion there. You know, you just got to kind of listen to your body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green onion and take the bulb parts, the more bulbous parts, and I'm just going to do a rough chop there just for the middle part that's kind of thicker. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of those in there just to get, you know, just to give a little extra onion for the meat. It's a little extra. It's a plague. You need, like, you honestly, like, you can't not have enough onion right now. Unless you want to take the vaccine. Have at it. But if you don't, eating for exorcism cannot go wrong. So I'm going to throw some garlics in here. And again, these garlics are kind of dry too. Garlic, again, good for getting rid of parasites and bugs around your plants and your home. So save the skins, burn the dried garlic skins with the onion as well. Okay. Is a water or juice fast considered a type of exorcism ritual? No, that's a fast. Fasting is not an exorcism ritual. It's a fast. It is a form of cleanse. But exorcism is spiritual. Fasting is physical. Now, in terms of fasting as a ritual, you could do something like giving up food for Lent, or maybe you can fast for a spiritual reason. For example, eating the unleavened bread during the Passover, or, you know, fasting or only eating, you know, something like I do sometimes, just lentil soup and pita bread or something like that. You know, you can do fasting as a spiritual thing of repentance, as a form of repentance, but fasting is fasting. Exorcism is exorcism. Fasting is physical, exorcism is spiritual. So when I say eating for exorcism, I'm talking about the aspect of ritual where, one, eating for exorcism, for physical exorcism, which again starts with parasites, which turn into virus or general bacteria, which can turn into, you know, disease or ailments or things. So, you know, again, physical, but spiritual exorcism, you're unbinding a human, typically, or a physical being from typically a demon. Sometimes you're dealing with high level demons, or actually Satan, but you know that's when you get into more the Latin. Demons speak Latin for a reason, but that's too much right now. With exorcism, you're unbinding one from a daemon, from a entity that was loosed from hell. And for exorcism, for it to be successful, you often need a binding agent. Sometimes it can end up in yourself, in your you're taking on someone else's demon, or, you know, and end of days. Spoiler alert. But, End of Days being an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But sometimes you can do it with a mirror or with spirit beads, with certain monk beads, rosaries, but it's originally monk beads. You can make your own wooden beads. You can bind a daemon to wood. You can make a magical alchemical tool, a tool, typically you know, like a wand, so to speak, or something that typically with a type of gemstone or wood. Metal, not so much. A mirror, but things like that where you can bind a daemon into that material. Metal, because metal is forged in hell. So that's why metal's not going to work so well when you're talking about binding a demon. Demons deal with metal. That's why Maleficent was allergic to, anyway. Or, you know, or you can do water cleansings. Reverse hypnosis, cord cutting meditation, sleep hypnosis, or meditations that will, you know, psychologically unbind you to a certain demon that manifests as a mental disorder or an unhealthy addiction, things like that. So let me get on with my dinner here. Just throw some garlics in here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this mixture up in the food processor, and then I'm gonna put the green jalapenos and the red chile pepper. Thinking that should be, the garlic's so dry, so I'm thinking that should be good. And if the mixture is too much or overpowering, I can always, you know, I don't have to add it all. And then so the pepper, rough chop, and the seeds also you can put in the plants, around the plants, to prevent pests. Jalapenos. Oops. This is like much. So we got garlic, shallots, pepper, 2 peppers in there. So we're gonna work with this for now. Food processor. There we go. There it is. Alrighty. Okay. Just gonna give it a couple more pulses. Okay. And so that's what we have. And so what I'm gonna do now with this is I'm gonna throw this on the skillet. Ooh. Without cutting myself, hopefully. And get this going here. Just about a little more than half of what I did should be fine, because again, I'm only doing half of the meat. So what I'm gonna do is throw a little olive oil on there too. And put the skillet on. Fairly high. It's already the quick boil. So, and I'm gonna let that get started. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grease the pan with olive oil. I've been doing a lot of baking lately. I haven't been doing demos with that yet, but I've just gotten used to like making souffles. I've been making a lot of souffles and things. So I'm just taking that same technique, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grease the pan with olive oil, since it's gonna be full of this pie, and black garlic. It's like a black garlic salt, but there's no salt in it, it's just black garlic rind. And so, again, I'm not using any butter, I'm not using any dairy. And what I do is I saved a little grease towel in a thing there. And just olive oil too. So there's leftover. You know, put it on your body. Moisturize yourself for a little bit. And it's good because I always take a bath afterwards. So it's like an oil bath. It's like I'm marinating already. But, alright. I'll turn this down for a second. And so what I have here is some black garlic. It's like a salt. It's just the dried ground black garlic and rice hull, and it says anti-caking agent. Black garlic. And so I'm just gonna lace the pan. It's really coarse, almost like the turbinado sugar. So it's gonna give a nice crunch too. And I'm just gonna lace the bottom. Try and get the sides a little bit. So, and that way, you know, I'm not going to do too much salt, but that way it'll seep in and marinate with everything. Have a nice salty effect. I'm going to do that a little bit with the white salt around the sides too. The white salt is thinner depending on how coarse you have your setting at. Oh wow, and you can really smell the shallots as they're marinating in the skillet. Because you don't cry because it's in the food processor, but you can really, it's really permeating the home too. And so the garlic it was really coarse and it mostly stuck to the bottom. So what I'm doing is I put the white salt around the edges, so it'll be black garlic. And the salt is around the edges, and the garlic kind of settled there. So that's just gonna be a base, and it's gonna marinate with all the juices and everything. And so I'm gonna turn this down even lower for now. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the tin aside and get the meat out first. I don't know how to explain to you all how good this smells marinating. It smells so good. So I'm just getting that cooking and letting the moisture release. Why is Latin the language of demons? Is it because there's a certain power behind that language as opposed to regular English? Yes. Yeah, that's why the Vatican, Latin, there's 7 languages that God speaks of or approves of. Arabic is one of them that I know in terms of modern. And then there's so as above, so below. So Latin, I believe, comes from Lucifer directly. That's all I can think of. And Lucifer was a very particular angel, very favored. Lucifer was in the high choir, because angels or Elohim, their names end in L. So Lucifer, ending in the fur, Lucifer, what other deity, what other God created entity's name ends in fur? Christ, Christopher. Lucifer, Christopher, these are Latin etymological terms. Meaning, Lucifer meaning the light bearer, Christopher meaning the cross bearer. So I personally, I get the inclination, my insight tells me that Lucifer's, or Latin is the language that was used by Lucifer in particular to communicate to humans. It could be one of the languages of demonology, of the demons. There's a Latin order. There is a Latin order of angels, fallen. So I have 92%, 8% fat. This meat, again, not much fat. Of course, obviously, I don't like too much fat, too much grease. I found not the best for meatballs, because meatballs, you want a little bit of fat in there, the way they marinate and cook. But this would be decent just for, grinding up. So, I don't like too much fat, but, everyone has their preference. I recommend less fat, and dealing with healthier fats like, avocado, or, maybe some fatty oils you can get from legumes, and different vegetable oils are probably a little bit healthier type of fats. Fish oil, omega-3. So I'm going to turn it up, put a little more olive oil on here. And actually, right now, before I put the meat, instead of adding more olive oil, I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce, I have a problem with this. So again, I'm just making more of the a gravy type of meat. In the first shepherd's pie, I didn't really do the full gravy, but here what I have, and to make a original gravy, all you need is a little bit of it's like a silicone or some. All you need is a little bit of that, or you can replace that with just some flour, and that will thicken up any grease or any leftover juices from the meat and the veggies marinating, and there you have a gravy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some au jus powder, a little bit, and I'm going to do some brown gravy mix and a little au jus powder to thicken it up to make a nice gravy after we do the meat. So this guy here. I'm just going to add half of the meat because I'm just doing half of the pie. I think that should work. We'll see. I might just do it all. I think I need to have some. Yeah, I'll just do all the meat, and I'll put the rest of the veggies in as well. That'll work, and we'll see how it evens out. Okay. That, actually, save that for a second. Get my tools on, and then we're going to throw the rest of this stuff in here. All right. Let's toss this in some water. Toss some water in here. Just get the rest of the minced veggies out. And so the meat's gonna simmer for a little bit, and I'm just gonna rinse this and throw the carrots, the kale, green onions. I have some soapy water down here just for my cooking convenience, so I can just get this guy back together. And so while the meat is cooking, you can get the veggies together. In here, let me show you all. It's kind of far away. Should keep you close. Keep you all close. So let me know if you all have any other questions. Okay. So again, this is the 92.8% fat lean meat with the chopped jalapenos, red chili, shallots, and garlic cloves. A little olive oil, it's bubbling up. A little olive oil and water. Get salt and pepper in here as well, just a little bit. Or just salt, just a little salt. You always want to have salt when you're dealing with meat, regardless. It's just a good. And then I have Worcestershire sauce in here. I hate that word. Turn it down a little bit. So because the meat is a very low % of fat, it doesn't release a lot of grease in the cooking process. So I like to make sure that no big chunks form, because I like in my shepherd's pie the meat to be pretty ground. I like ground meat anyway. I eat like a bird, but I just like it no big chunks to form, to keep it nice and ground. Let everything marinate. And again, I do have the Worcestershire sauce in there. too, so it's already getting to a little gravy point. Plus, it's gonna cook for at least a half. Well, it's a half pan, so at least it's gonna cook for at least 25 to 45 minutes, depending on if you do it like 280 to 350. So you don't have to overdo the meat at this point, really. And you know, so I'm just gonna let it simmer for a little bit longer. And again, I've got a little pink salt in there too, just to. And I don't want to do too much salt in it either, because I am going to do Green Harvest seasoning, which again has a lot of natural salt. We got rosemary, onion, garlic, yeast. It has sea salt, thyme, bell pepper, carrot, tomato, spirulina, kale, moringa, black pepper, spinach, spinacas, lemon, peel, orange peel, parsley, tarragon, basil, dill, sunflower oil, and oregano, and all of that is organic that it has in here. So I'm gonna, you know, put this on top of the vegetables. So again, I don't want to overdo it with the salt. I personally don't think you can overdo it with pepper. You know, that's just my palate. But I don't want to overdo it with salt or sugar. You know. So even at this point now, I'm gonna turn the eye on low. Plus, this all might not fit. I'm not gonna eat all, you know, need all of this meat in the shepherd's pie. So half of that is probably gonna go in food storage for, you know, maybe a rice, like a little Thai larb dish or something that I'll make. All right. So I'm just gonna peel some carrots, some more carrots, and guys back here. I'm like all over the place. I'm gonna take my garlic skins away so I have more working space. The plant, the thing I love about the plant is like it's actually leaning toward me. As I put it, it usually leans toward the window, but now it's leaning over here because that's where the light is and the heat is. It like leans away from the window. You know, I'll show you all, like you can totally see the difference from when I put it there and now. It's just like leaning toward, it's coming toward the light. Yep, they are sentient beings. Plants are sentient. So be nice to them or they might take your oxygen away. It happens. So yeah, at this point what I'm going to do is I'll save a little more peppers for the veggie part. And again, like I said, it's plague. Save this for compost, and so just add a rough chop these onions. Don't need too many more onions or peppers, just a little bit. Don't need more garlic because we're going to add some. I have black garlic. So I have black garlic around the rim, white garlic, you know, in the mix. I can turn that off now. And then I'll have black pepper and white pepper on the potatoes, and then red pepper and green pepper as the veggies. And so I have the broccolini here, so I'm just gonna chop that twice, throw that in, and some kale. Might even get, and kale, it's like spinach, so it's really good to have, to add in anything. It's great raw, but also cooked. And this is a good way to take advantage of the thicker stem aspect. If you don't like eating it in like a salad or something, you just like the leafier part. Something like a shepherd's pie the stem of the kale leaf will be a good substitute for the celery that I'm not putting in this. All right, so back at it. Here. little more carrot. I forgot. Let's get some more carrots in there. Should put the carrots at the bottom. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the mashed potatoes. So I have the veggies chopped there. And I am going to probably add a little more carrots after the fact. Just a little more carrots and kale in there. Scan this carrot. Like I said, it'd be super purple if if I had purple carrots, but you know, that's just for you all. You know, the real recipe for the purple pie will have purple carrots. But I thought it was just like a nice little robust pop. The way, you know, I did the colors. Just pops off the dish a little bit, the orange. So I'll add few more carrots and a little more kale as well. So right now I'm just gonna work on plating. Well, first, I just kind of winged this. I didn't have everything prepared like I usually like to do when I do the uploads, but I was hungry, and otherwise you all might not have got to see the full recipe. So I'm just gonna throw that stuff in. Alright, so let's get the meat in here. Okay, so here we have the meat. Ooh, let's get it in here. But I just kind of wanted to show you all, and it smells really good. And the way it's ground, it kind of smells like the filling in an Asian dumpling, in like the Mongolian beef ones. It smells really good. So I'm just gonna layer the bottom pretty nice, see what we're working with. And like I said, I didn't salt too much because there's all that garlic salt in the bottom that's gonna marinate with the meat. Yeah, a little more than half. And what I'm gonna do now is just sprinkle a little gravy mix. The Worcestershire sauce does the trick pretty well. But again, I'm just gonna sprinkle some gravy mix over the meat. And a little au jus gravy mix too. Just kind of stir it up a little bit in there. And so that's all the saltiness, you know, you really need without overdoing it. Okay. Just layer the bottom there. And for meat lovers, you know, you can just add a little more. Just cover it up. I'm surprised that so much fits, but you know, it with the shepherd's pie, especially with this half pan, it fills up quicker than you think. Okay, just a little meat left over. So now we're gonna throw the veggies on top too. So chopped purple kale, green onion, carrots in there. And with it being chopped, you can do more, you know, you can really control how much of what, how much meat, veggies, and things. And so I'm going to get most of it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little more carrots and kale. Carrots and kale in here. There's the kale. Oh, and I actually do have more broccolini, so that's a plus. Got some more broccolini, carrots, and kale. Broccolini, a quick chop. And like I said, the stems on these veggies are a great substitute for celery. Perfect for me. Like I said, I eat like a baby. So, just gonna put a nice layer, these veggies on top. Nice salad on there. Take out this and throw in the soapy water I got ready. So it's quite a bit of veggies, but worth it. I did want to add some beets. I did want to add a little bit of beets in here just for the purple effect. So I'm going to just chop some up really quickly. And I'm also just gonna cut some Italian parsley, just a bit of Italian parsley over the veggies, just a little bit. Sprinkle it about. Parsley's really good for digestion too, and bacteria. It's good for respiratory health. I'm like digesting all the smells already. I'm like getting full from this. Just a few beets. I talked about how beets are good for women with blood, you know, issues with our menstrual, with blood. Good for fibroids or anything, you know, over bleeding too much, or just generally restoring, you know, the iron content. They're really rich and robust. So, you know, the purple color, I talk a lot about eating melanated foods. And, you know, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The darker the skin, the deeper the roots. And that goes for food as well as, you know, humans, you know, Africans. But it's important to understand color. Why did the Most High create things with color and allow us to see color? You know, it helps us understand, you know, nutrition and what our body needs. And color also regulates your mood. You know, certain colors can activate, you know, certain moods. You know, that's why red is typically used, you know, in media to generate a mood of sex and romance. You know, red represents blood. Pink represents the blushing that occurs as your sex organs engorge when you're horny, when you're aroused. All these things are relative. So that's, you know, that's how metaphysics works. It takes physical properties and, you know, the wisdom of the supernatural and combines those things in an alchemical way to manifest. So this is our veggie layer here. And you see how much we just got, like an inch left over for the potatoes. But that's how I did the veggies. They're nice and minced, and then just a little Italian parsley, and some marinated beets just to go along with the purple theme. Purple kale, purple beets, should be purple carrots, but I just wanted it to pop a little bit. And with the orange. And so now I'm just going to finish off the potatoes, again, that I already mashed. And by the way, beets will dye things, so be careful how you leave them around. Do what you got to do and put them up somewhere, or else you're going to have a whole purple theme going in your home or with your clothes or your skin. But what we're going to do here is, I'm going to show you all these beautiful purple potatoes that I've mashed the other day. Actually, I boiled them for a while. I didn't salt the water either. These are just really plain, just boiled in water, you know, for a while, you know, steeped until really tender. And purple potatoes, they're really small, you know, like a 3-bite size. They're small. They're, you know, like small. And, you know, so I just boiled a bag of them and then just mashed them up. So these are plain, no seasoning at all. Very beautiful color. And so, like I said, I'm going to do vegan potatoes, which means instead of butter, we're going to do olive oil. Instead of dairy, we're going to do a plant-based milk. And I'm trying this Ripple. It was all they had. Dairy-free as it should be. Got the omega-3s that I was talking about. Plant-based, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do dairy instead. Plant-based dairy instead of real dairy. And we're going to do 2 peppers. So we had the green pepper and red pepper in the veggies, and we're going to do white pepper and black pepper for the potatoes. So it's a 4-pepper purple pie. I purposely did that. I want to get y'all into the spelling. You know what I mean? The spell casting and the unbinding of the tongue. Yeah, 4-pepper purple pie. And so I have here all of that. Olive oil, plant-based milk, white pepper, black pepper, chew, in case you didn't believe me. And so I'm just gonna give that a little mixeroo and throw the purple potatoes in here gradually. And I really, honestly, what I really meant to do was put it over the skillet with the meat. And, you know, just to loosen them up a little bit. But what I'm going to do is probably just break out the blender. Or this guy. And this is much better. And so this is how you, you know, traditionally mash up things. All right, so we're gonna get this in here. Yeah. So just loosen it up, mash it up, and then add a little more of this stuff and a little more olive oil. Okay. I'm gonna keep mashing, and we're gonna add a little minced garlic. So we're gonna have 3 garlics just because it smells good, and you know it's a plague. So we're just gonna, and just for a nice little traditional flavor of the mashed potatoes, so they're not too super plain, even though we have everything so flavorful. So we're just gonna add a really little bit of that, really just a little bit, just cause, and tarragon, because I love tarragon, and it has dragon energy, and we did start off talking about drakes, you know, the difference between drakes and vampires and things, and tarragon is just wonderful. As you can see, I can't get enough. So instead of the rosemary, traditional rosemary with the potatoes, which I could do a little bit, why not? Since I said it. So what happens when you wing your uploads. Have to do whatever. Chop a little rosemary, a little dried rosemary. Not too much. But I love tarragon. It's good for, dragon look power. So it's definitely it has a very airy, intellectual manifestation, kind of fairy luck, dragon, nymph. Dragonflies are nymphs, dragon energy. So we'll get the rosemary in there with the tarragon. I burn the rosemary stems too. Great for incense and exorcism. Rosemary is excellent for exorcism. Complements onions and garlic. Everything. And so what I'm going to do now is, before I finish mashing and forget, I'm going to take this Green Harvest seasoning with all the organic goodness and just kind of, salt the veggies. Put a layer of salt between the veggies and the potatoes, again, because I'm not using much salt in this. And that's just going to complement the veggie delight of this 4-pepper purple pie. And I'm just going to mash away. And at this time, I can preheat the oven to 350 because I'm hungry. And so I don't want it cooking forever and ever. But what I'm going to do, what really is preheat the oven for 350,